Welcome to Calculations, the talk show. Got a very special guest, Mr. Angelo Ellerbee. He is from Double Exposure. Angelo, thank you for being on the show. I'm going to get right to it and let you talk a little bit about yourself and what I believe is your fourth book. I went to DC Public Schools. I come up with four. Is this your fourth book?
That's my fourth book.
Welcome
That's
to the
my fourth.
show, Angelo.
Hey, Gary, let me tell you, it's always a privilege and an honor to sit before you. I find you to be one of the most fascinating individuals, the most caring individuals that care about its community. So I thank you and I thank your listeners and your followers for participating. This is participation. I
Thank you.
come to
Thank you very
you,
much.
I come to you on this book because this is going to be my last book, and it's entitled Before I Let You Go. And before I let you go, I want to make sure that you have the right ingredients for life. This book is about an inspiration. This book is about inspiring the next person to get to the next level of life. This is a book about we're not going to judge, prejudge. We're not going to bully. We're going to love. And we're going to love from within. And I try to tell people no matter what your situation is or has been, God is but a forgiving God. So if you've been incarcerated and you believe that there's no life for you, you're a liar. There's life for you. You have to challenge the oppositions. You have to prepare yourself. And I tell people each and every day of my life that I'm romantically in love with me. Because when I'm in love with me, I can love you a little bit better. I want to work harder to prove people wrong, particularly when the challenges is really deep and hard. And you have to be a committed individual to want to surpass the challenge. If you're incarcerated, no matter what you did, our God is forgiving. If you're in a domestic relationship, may it be male or female, God would work it out for you. If you're 15 years old and you've discovered that you're gay and your parents have put you out of the house and you have no place to go, before I let you go, I'm going to tell you there is a place that you can go. And you can go within, and then you can come back out, and you can start a whole new life of trying to reach or obtain the goal that you set forth for yourself. So the book is not what everybody thinks it is. They think it's all about the music industry. It is
Yeah.
not about the music industry. Why I touch bases on the music industry? Because it's been my 55 years in the industry. But I wanted to talk to people about self love, and I wanted to inspire people to tell people that I came from Newark, New Jersey. I came from a very rural community. I was born into, I think, the best family that I could have ever been born into. My mother was a waitress, so she didn't have all this education, but I believe she got her degree just in street savvy, how to raise children, how to love, how to provide. And these are the kinds of things that I outline in this book. I outline the importance of self help and us mentoring each other. We have to remember the importance of mentoring one another. We cannot sit back and bully and become judgmental on somebody's life or lifestyle or what they're doing. We all go to church because what? We all sinners. And we want God to love us and we want God to forgive us. And this is the same thing that I'm speaking about in my book. Is giving yourself a try, giving yourself chances. That's what's really important, man.
Okay, you hit on so much already, and you probably saw me write something down because I wanted to make sure I did not forget it. You can help me out by just sharing what works for you in this particular area, and that is one of the things I try very, very hard to do is to be non-judgmental. How has that worked for you? What do you do?
Well, I first have to accept what people are saying, or I have to listen to what people are saying. And I came up in a very strange time in the music industry where being gay was not the most popular thing on the face of this earth. It was struggles. I know there were several people that said, if you was not gay, you would be bigger than what you are. I remember going into a meeting for James M. Tume when the gentleman that I managed for like 6 or 7 years, doing the Juicy Fruit process of his record. And one white guy said to me, he says, you speak real well. And I looked at him and I said, I was going to tell you the same thing, that you speak real well.
I love it.
The challenges of just being in the flavor of the music industry at that time, there was the hip hop community that shut the door on so many um, possibilities for me to represent them. And I remember I think it was Eric B. and Rakim or someone, I had to lay out to them who I was and how I had accepted who I was. And remember at a very early age in my life, my mother said, God loves you, I love you, your four sisters love you. And that's all that will ever matter. Don't let that bullying, don't let the judgmental side stand in the way of your success. My mother said to me, you're great, you're greater. Not because you're my child, but I want you to grow and be self-determined to be the greatest at what you go to do. That stuck with me. So all the name calling, not coming to utilize my services because of my sexuality, became very minute to me. It was no longer important to me. I removed all of that negative and I got to the positive. And the positive for me was productivity. Taking someone who was nothing to making them a huge star, showing them what my work ethic was, letting them know that I'm on 7th Avenue, the only Black man on 7th Avenue, with a full team of 19 different individuals that worked in many capacities. I didn't just have publicists that did one thing. You had to do all sorts. And we combined our efforts to explode and exhibit our best work with our artists. We took the rudimentary placements. We took the artists who had no name, who was just beginning. And our job was to give them visibility. But more equally as important, our job was to get them to know who they were as an artist and to stay original. I don't like copycats on anything. We have enough of original music, original artists out here. We do not have to follow that yellow big road. You are the wizard. You are the star. Let
You
nobody
know,
come. I'm sorry.
no, 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 go ahead. I was just going to say that as I was listening to you and over the years, as I followed you, there were two things that came to mind. Number one, I would always say, nobody is going to outwork this dude. Your work ethic is like second to none. And then you established, these are my words, like a finishing school or for artists that, I mean, needed some polish or needed
But
this or that. And you did it.
the thing for me, man, there are mentors that you follow, and there are mentors that you discover. There are mentors that you Google and find out a lot about. And one of my most admirable mentors was Berry Gordy. And here's the reason why. Because he was bullied, rejected, not accepted in the American marketplace. He had to find out why. And particularly in the 50s and 60s, we all knew why. We knew that we were Black, and all that we were going to be able to cater to was Black folks. But this brilliant man said, I need to make these artists appealing to all genres, to all demographics. How do I do that? Now, do I imitate some of the things that have taken place with the white artists? Maybe I do. Maybe I send them to a finishing school. Maybe I'll give them diction and speech lessons. Maybe I'll put a choreographer with them. Maybe I'll do those things that's going to make the mainstream audience look at me a little different because there's no other company that is polishing up their act the way that I am. That's an original, that's being original.
It
Original and you
is.
and that's what he did. And that was his success of it all.
He even had the tagline, the sound of young America. And it was.
And but the key thing is that he was a team player. It wasn't all just him. It
Right.
was a team of people who came together who had a belief in a company, had a belief in artists, and they all came together to make for winning results. You know, so then it was the Supremes, and then it was Dinah Ross, and then it was Mary Wilson, and then it was who was it, Temptations, and it went on and on and on. They all had their unique style, but they all had the same teachings.
Yeah.
So when we started to talk about the bullying and the whole the bit there, my focus went into where does my people need to be in this day and time? White folks was not understanding hip hop music at all. They just thought it was going to be something that was going to come and something that was going to go. And so that's why I really cannot participate in the 50th anniversary of hip hop, because the only winners in hip hop has been white folks. They own everything, their music, their music, lyrical content, their publishing. And then you didn't want to give it, and you didn't want to give it a chance. But just like all other genres of music, they have taken from us as well. But this history of hip hop music, and after you break the barriers with the Eric B's and the Eric B's and who was it, Dougie Fresh, and it was just a list of people who came to me, and I just said, "Hey, this is what time it is. This is me. You don't like me? See that door? The door that brought you in is the door that takes you out. I'm good." But then they started to get into what my worth was, my knowledge, my work ethic, and they started to see the difference. So let's not close our eyes to sexualities. Let's not close our eyes to drug habits. Let's not close our eyes to being resistant for prostitution. Let's not close our eyes to anything. There's a substance inside of that sometimes people grow from that to make for a better life. Everybody deserves chances. And you got to give everybody a chance. You got to give that drug addict a chance.
Right.
You know, and when you're walking down the street and you're seeing homeless people, don't turn your head. Dig in your pocket and give them something.
Yeah.
All what they gonna do is buy liquor. That ain't none of your business. You're judging. And they're gonna go buy you're judging. But you got to think that maybe one day, maybe there's gonna be me there, or maybe one day it's gonna be my mother, maybe one day it's gonna be my father. It's just this world is just in a very, very curious place where nobody seems to care about anyone. Not even the birth mothers and fathers are caring about their children the way that they need to. It's not just a romantic attack to make a child. You got to once you raise the child, you have to be afraid that the streets are going to turn around and raise the child. So, but if you give them the quintessential ingredients of success, which starts with falling in love with who you are, your challenges doesn't become so difficult. You have your own mind to think. Everybody wants to get into this whole crush thing about taking people down. I ain't there. I say you should understand what's in that playground before you go to play. Understand what's in that playground. I would rather take the steps than get on the elevator or the escalator. The steps gives me longevity. I get a chance to learn as I go.
Right.
But when you get on that elevator and that escalator, you're there.
Right.
And you don't get the experience. You don't get the knowledge. You got to know who you put yourself in front of. You got
I
to know who
love
your
that
team
metaphor.
is.
I love that metaphor because you can stop on the steps and sit down if you need
Oh,
to.
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I had to do.
Yeah.
I don't want an elevator ride. I don't want an escalator ride. And that's why I have so many concerns with social media with our young people, because they believe that it's going to get them there a little bit faster. Fast is not always good.
Nope.
I tell people every single day I don't drink instant coffee. I drink brewed coffee because I want to see the process.
Right.
I can see what I'm putting in it. I know how it's going to taste when all the main ingredients are in there. So this book is really about, man, just making people understand the importance of loving yourself, and it's okay to love somebody else and to share your information. I always tell people, what shit, were you going to die with it?
You know, here's a two-parter for you.
Sure.
What are you most proud of, and who are you most proud of?
I am most proud of me. I am. I have gone through the trenches of life and still I stand. With all the challenges, with all the bullying, with all the things that have happened and taken place in my life, all the sicknesses, I'm so proud of being proud of me. Um, I fought the battle. I'm still fighting battles. But at the end of the day, I give my battles to the man that I know that can fix it. And I'm nobody's born again Christian. I am born within an understanding and a religion that has carried me for 67 years. And I'm very, very grateful. And yes, man, I'm very proud of me. I am very, very, very proud of me and not ashamed to say it. And I'm super proud of God. I'm proud of him because he embraces me each and every single day. He allows me to learn, to open my mind. And I don't know if it's prayer or if it's conversation that I have with him. I have a conversation 45 minutes every day. I believe if he can give me 24 hours, I can give him 45 minutes of praise. And I can include my worst enemies. And I can include the homeless, the AIDS victim, the drug addicts, the prostitutes, the whores. Eh, I can include all those people because they're his children and they all need his help. We all need each other's help.
Right.
If we start looking at all what's going on in America with all these wars, our young kids are being killed. You can't go to the supermarket, you get killed there. You can't go to school, you get killed. We have to begin to share and love like back in the day. Now, some people say, Angela, you're being super unreal. I'm not being super unreal. I know what works for me. And I know when I give back and I educate someone that has never done anything like I'm teaching them to do, and they come out to be vice presidents of major corporations, they're doing what they want to do because somebody gave them a chance. Now, you may have not liked the way I gave you the chance because I'm starched and hard because I want you to get it and for nobody else to take it from you. So before I let you go, I'm gonna make sure you have the knowledge to stay in power, to stay in the race. It's so important to think not about winning every race. If you stay in the race, eventually you gotta win.
You are speaking like a man, these are my words, who's freed up. You are freed up, through your process, through your prayer, your faith, you are freed up. And that's a really, really good feeling to be freed up, to be able to do that. And for some people who may not know some of the people that you represented and interacted with, just give them a sense, because you wouldn't be in the business for 5 decades plus if you weren't doing anything significant.
Well, I started out working for James M. Tume,
Right.
which was my mentor, still is my mentor in his passing. And he was such a great, great orator, great teacher. He explained things to me. And he said to me, because my degree is in design, he said, now how long you think that design shit's gonna hold on? That's what he said. And it was me and his wife, because his wife is an incredible designer. He said, if you can do all that stuff for her, why don't you come and learn something new? I said, but and to me, I don't know nothing about music. He said, yeah, I know you don't. That's why you need to learn it. What happened in that time was he was just teaching me the who, what's, when's, where's, and why's. And the great thing about Mtume is that he accepted me for who I am. He would say to me, man, I don't give a shit about that. That's on you. This is on me. I saw you gear up the engine. I saw you get me a full page in the New York Times. I saw you take my groups and do A, B, C, and D. But I could only do those things because he shared his knowledge and his wisdom with me, which allowed me to enter into the R&B side. So he had a record company, had a record production company called Ifland. So he had Tawatha Ag on the label,
Yeah.
Tyrone Brunton on the label,
Oh yeah.
a group called New Romance Crew. And that really began the thrust of it all. And because New Jersey was born, I say it was born with dance music. Dance music was the way for any young person to get into the industry. And for those people who had a feeling for club music that would go to the garage and that would go to 54. So this music was really percolating in New Jersey. So there was a young girl by the name of Sybil, My Love is Guaranteed, and Jocelyn Brown,
Oh
and
my God.
Blaze, and then Phase Two. These were all the beginning. And then I got into uh, people like Dionne Warwick. Then I got into the Whitney Houstons of the world. Then it was DMX, Alicia Keys, Mary J. Blige, Laura Branigan, the Marleys, Cedella Marley, Rita Marley, Tough Gone, the label, Karen Clark Sheeran in gospel, Donna Lawrence in gospel, Stanley Brown in gospel. Then I got into reggaeton. There was a whole list of reggaeton folks. Then it was Shabba Ranks back into the reggae community. It was Patra. It was Bounty Killer. We had, I think, a very diverse agency. You know, I also did Beverly Sills, the opera singer. I did Laura Branigan.
Laura
Uh,
Branigan, yeah.
and I managed Laura, but you had what I think is what you put in is what you get out. If you don't put nothing in, you can't go to the bank and try to take something out. So my thing was starting from the basement of my mother's home. I wasn't going back to no basement. I had to find my way, and I had to find my way through James and Tume. So I got him from the club music to the R&B music, and then I did a movie for Mtume. It was called The Native Son. It was the first film that Oprah Winfrey ever did. It was a Diane Silver's film. James Mtume did the music soundtrack for it. And then he did something for TV. What was it? Something for TV where he created Natalie's. I think it's something, the New York Undercover Cop. And so each and every single week, I mean, no one understood the magnitude of this man's creativity away from music. He created an avenue inside of one of the major TV shows that we all watched to showcase our young artists. So each and every single week, you know, Mary J. Blige had a spot there. Then it was Christopher Williams had a spot there.
Yeah.
These were the things that these were the people that he aligned me to and allowed me to work with. And so as the list goes on, there was movies. You know, I managed DMX for like 6 or 7 years, and he had an array of movies that I either was the music supervisor or associate producer for. So it just goes on and it goes on and it goes on. So over the 55 years, we have had that have come through my door, about 2,500 artists that have come through my door.
Wow.
And then, you know, on not on the music side, but like literary books. I've done over 250 books for different clients. You talk about executives, it has to be like 100 in that. So my input is not just in the music industry, but it goes outside. I've learned the importance of diversifying, even though white folks didn't want to see that diversity back in its day. Now they buy into it because they have to buy into it. Back in the day, you were not mixing what was urban with pop. It just wasn't. I took on several jobs. I worked for Chrysalis Records, and I oversaw the Gangstar beginning of their career, and about maybe 4 or 5 different, but it was very separated and very different then. When they said the urban side, that's what they meant. They didn't mean urban did not come into pop side at all. Strategies was different, money was different, budgets was different. So if whatever you got on that black side of music, budgetarily, that's what you spent. It was nowhere equal to a Sinead O'Connor
Yeah.
or to anyone that was pop on that side. So you really, really had to go to work at really producing. And that's why I think the company does what it does, because we don't stay in one lane. I have to, I mean, I still to this day come out of those lanes and I try to go in all lanes.
Right.
Some people don't like it, but if I do publicity, I feel like I'm doing marketing. If I'm doing marketing, I have to engage someone to do social media marketing, engaging them. If I want you to look a certain way, I want to oversee the photo shoot to make sure the image is going to be what it needs to be. If those things are important to me, that's that Berry Gordy thing that sticks out in my mind every time I get a new account. I like for them to come butt ass naked. Because I want to create. That's mentally and physically.
Right.
I want to be able to create and give you the right ingredients. You can't be a manager for a year and a half when you were an HR person, or you can't be a manager when you were a garbage man. You're learning at that stage of the game, and you should take the right advice from people that have been able to sustain themselves in the marketplace over years and years and years. I just think that people need to be very selective about who they bring into their house as their team. All information is not good information. And I believe that what happens is that demons come in disguises. They come in
Wow.
disguises. And you got to be very, very careful about those demons. We could talk about where some of our current artists is landing today, because there was a difference in being ambitious and being ambitious. And some of our artists today were more ambitious than they were ambitious. And what I mean by that, and I think the story is unfolding, when you want it so fast and you want to be the boss and you want to be empowered to rule, you got to remember there's a beginning. And you got to really remember who's giving you that toolage, who's giving you that advice. Sometimes you have to release yourself from the streets and keep yourself very correct to how to play the game. People don't know how to play games properly. And then they get caught up. And then it becomes very accusatory. And then you're out. And then all of those people that you took care of don't want to have nothing to do with you. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also thinking about your earlier step analogy,
Yes.
because when you're going up the steps, you can stop, sit on the steps, and become a student of the game.
Yeah.
And you can see how the game is played.
Yes.
And if you're really, really good, you can beat them at their own game.
Exactly. So that's why it's so important to me is that your inner family has to come with smarts. It's good to learn as you go, but not in the process of your formation of building. You can't be the leader and be in the process of learning. Someone who has had experience should be that person that understands. You should not have to sit back with 7 or 8 or 9 different people to draw a conclusion as to what you should be doing as the manager.
Yes. Yes. Wow.
You have to have those kinds of, it's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. You're going to either rise or fall. And that's what you're going to do back and forth. Some you'll win on, some you'll get a hit record on, and some of them you won't. Some you'll get a big movie, and some you won't. But that is the key ingredients of learning. It's called experience.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so where can people get the book? Shameless plug. Where can they get the book the best way?
This book is so important to me. As I said to you, and excuse my redundancy, this is my last book.
Yeah.
Um, we're now going through pre-orders from May until July. So they can go to my Angelo at or double exposure at what is it? Come on, Angelo. Angelo at DXXNYC. Or they can go to any of my social media pages, which is all Double Exposure Inc.
And we'll put those up on the site as well as the scan code.
Hey Gary, listen, man, I really, really appreciate what you're doing, not just for me, but what you do for so many other people. You have been just a starch board of support, not to just to me, but to so many people that I've brought your way and other people who have just come your way. You deserve what you're getting, which is success. And
Thank
God
you very
bless you and
much.
your family. No, I really, really mean
No,
that,
I
and I
really
appreciate
appreciate
that.
that because I try hard and I try to be consistent and I have a work ethic and I try to learn from the people around me. So I really appreciate that.
I think it's really important. I don't care to what age you ever get that you take advice from. You can take advice from anyone. Now you have to assess the advice and use it to the best of your advantage. And I think that's what you're doing. That's what my attempts and my goals are. Is for people to win and not to shut the door on people. Don't shut the door on the homeless person.
No,
Don't shut the door on the AIDS victim. Don't shut the door on the jail and prison one. Don't shut the door on the domestic violence victim. Don't shut the door on homelessness. These are our people. These are our people, and we deserve to help them to the next level. So, in the closing of this, portions of my book, I'm giving back to a inner city organization out of Newark, New Jersey for HIV and AIDS. What this is supposed to do is going to build 4 rooms in this center in the city of Newark, where we will give them 3 to 4 meals a day, give them a weekly stipend, and make sure that they're going to school.
wow,
And that's what's important to me. And my audiences for the book signing is not just, yeah, I want to sell a book, but what I want to do is I wanted to bring that homeless person inside of that auditorium. I wanted to bring in that domestic violence women, men inside of that auditorium. And everybody else, I want to just preach and tell them, I'm a Negro from Newark, New Jersey. My mother had an eighth grade, ninth grade education. I, I, I didn't know I was poor, but I worked towards reaching my own goal. And I made many, 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 many mistakes on the way. I had millions of dollars and lost it, and then had to go back and regain it. You can't tell me that there's no God. You can't tell me if you have the fortitude, if you have the think power to get there. To get back there, I remember calling my mother, Gary, and I said, "Ma, I lost my money." She laughed and she says, "Where'd you lose it at?" I said, "Ma, I have to move off of 7th Avenue." She said, "Well, I'm in the middle cooking my greens." And I go, "Ma, are you listening to me?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Pack up that shit, go find you another place and start the show over again.
wow,
You can't." And it was real. Start the show over again. She said, "You started in the basement of the house. Find you another place and keep it moving." And that's what I'm trying to say to everybody. We all go through what we go through. That singer who didn't want to sing anymore because they got ripped off, it goes down the road. If you could still sing, sing. Find some new people to put into your life. Live your life. It's too short. to do nothing else with it but to live it and to be happy in it.
I am going to leave it at that. I cannot top that. That is the way. Angelo Ellerbee, you are modeling the appropriate behavior. I thank you for being a guest on the show. And this is going to be a print feature on blackmeninamerica.com and then on all our social media outlets as well. The book is Before I Let You Go by Angelo Ellerbee. It's his 4th book. Thank you once again, Angelo. Stay with us.
For you. Thank you so much, Gary.
Don't make me over now that I do anything for you. Don't make me over now that you know how I adore you. Don't pick on the things I say, the things I do. Just love me with all my faults, the way that I love you. I'm begging you, don't make me over